Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Primus Propositions vodcast, Hear the Lion Roar. I'm Matt Brown, Head of Proposition, and as ever, I'm joined by Nikki Hemmings, Proposition Manager. Hello, Nikki.
Hi, Matt, and hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hear the Lion Roar.
Welcome indeed. Well, we've actually got one of our own today, so it feels quite a familiar vodcast today. We're joined by our Director of New Homes for LSL Financial Services, so Craig Hall. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello, both. I'm very good, thanks. How are you?
Hi, Craig. Good, thanks.
Very good. So for those who don't know you, mate, although you've got a very, very big social media presence, so I feel like I know you really well, but tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So I suppose first up, married with 2 kids, and as we stand today, a 10-week-old cockapoo puppy. So if I look a little bit jaded, then you know why. It is like having a baby again. So yeah, wish me luck on that one. But from a work perspective, I've been in financial services for 28 years next month, which is quite a scary thought, really. So I do remember my first day back in Barclays in Dudley in 1994 as if it was yesterday. So time certainly flies. So yeah, so been in financial services 28 years, started out in retail banking, range of roles at Barclays, moved to Bradford Bingley as a mortgage protection advisor, and then moved on to spend almost 16 years at Legal & General. Started out in GI and then latterly in the Mortgage Club there in a range of roles. And I suppose the biggest chunk of my time was new build manager, and probably hence why I'm here with LSL today. So yeah. Hopefully that helps with a bit of a background.
Indeed, mate, and we're really lucky to have you on board.
Well, thank you, mate.
No problem.
Glad to be here.
Let's start off with the questions then, shall we? Craig, are you ready?
I think so.
So I'm going to ask you to cast your mind back over the last 12 months and give us a reflection on how you feel the last 12 months have been.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. I think it's been fantastic. As I said, I spent 5 years at L&G in the new build role, and I often describe it as a privilege to work in the new home sector. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a real sort of passion of mine, and connecting people right across the industry and collaborating and really trying to move this market forward so we can create a sustainable market for everybody, ultimately the end customer. I think it's fantastic. So when the opportunity came knocking to join this great group, it was a no-brainer. I think firstly the staff and the welcome I've received, the culture is like a family at LSL, and it's great to be part of the family. I've met some of our brokers now and look forward to meeting more over the next few weeks, months, and years ahead, and they've all been absolutely fantastic. So a real pleasure to work with. And I think that the thing that really excited me with joining LSL is the wider group. And a lot of people don't realise perhaps the size and scale of the LSL group. We've got obviously the financial services division, Primus and TMA. And then we've got eServe, chartered surveyors. We've got Mortgage Gym. We've got the estate agents, Land and New Homes. So it's a real comprehensive range of services that we can offer both to our brokers through the group, but also house builders as well. And I suppose that's a key part of my role is engaging with all of those key stakeholders to drive our volume and our share.
Excellent. So that's what your last 12 months have looked like. So what are your future plans for LSL New Homes?
Yeah, so when I came in, it was like lift the bonnet and have a look at where are we at now. So we've got just under 11% market share, which is pretty phenomenal, really. So, clearly a big part of bringing me in is to grow that share. I'd love to see that reach 15% over the next few years. And how will we do that? There'll be a range of measures. Some of that will be through supporting our existing ARs, clearly, in terms of there's a lot going on in the market at the moment. Help to Buy will be ending soon. So what comes next? Cost of living crisis. How are our brokers and their customers going to navigate that? So we need a range of solutions. So working with the likes of yourselves, Matt and Liz, and Rob in TMA from a proposition perspective to make sure that our brokers have the best in class where appropriate. I think then it's education as well to support our existing advisors. So I run, for years, I've run the New Homes Forum. We ran the first LSL New Homes Forum in May, which was hugely successful. We had about 180 people there from right across the industry. The next one is on the 23rd of November. So bit of a plug for that one there. So, the brokers that are watching, if you're in new build or you want to get into new build, there will be limited spaces. So get in touch if you want to come along to that. And hopefully the guys have seen a series of sort of virtual webinar sessions that I've been running as well. So we're doing the big thought leadership type events with the forums, but also constantly feeding information and insights out through virtual forums, as well as bespoke sessions with ARs as and when they need it. I think the other strands is recruitment, so supporting the recruitment of new firms, supporting the group's acquisition strategy of acquiring more new homes brokers as well. Strategic partnerships with builders, so where we can form a greater alliance, and I mentioned earlier about the wider group services, then clearly there's opportunities to drive financial services through that. And I think also not to forget sort of I mentioned thought leadership and PR. I really want LSL, Primis, TMA to be seen on the map, on the radar by brokers, our own brokers, as well as brokers that are part of other networks, so that they can say, hang on, we want to be a part of what they're doing over there at LSL, and also house builders as well. So, big focus around thought leadership and PR as well.
Brill, thanks, Craig. Absolutely. Financial services growth, is probably forming part of all of our objectives and massive in the group. So great to hear that. And I guess that leads me nicely into the next question. So what do you see coming in the future in the new homes market? What's going on?
Yeah, I think right across the market, we've seen post-pandemic that reassessment of housing need. I think at the moment, though, because of the cost of living crisis, the new build properties, that are A or B, and in some cases C rated, but there's obviously a lot of more interest in energy efficient homes, given what we're seeing with our energy bills on at the moment. So I know Zoopla have run some research recently that again confirmed that sort of increasing desire to own new. And I think it's not just about the energy efficiencies, it's also as we're moving forward with electric vehicles, so a lot of the new homes going forward, so we'll have to have electric vehicle chargers. I think we're all becoming accustomed to smart homes and greater use of technology that perhaps some of the older properties don't have. Obviously that to buy a second-hand home that might be a D, E, or an F is quite costly to then go through a retrofit as well. And so I think there's a real desire for new build and still a lack of stock. I think that's whether it be second hand, and it'd be interesting to see when the new government is appointed, what the plans are to drive an increased supply. And the government previously talked about delivering 300,000 homes a year in England, and we've not achieved that yet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think also more broadly, the future home standard that's coming into effect with house builders will mean that by 2025, new homes that are built have to produce 75 to 80% less carbon emissions. So again, they're only going to become even more energy efficient as we move forwards. And what I'd say to our listeners, our viewers, is have a look at Google the Barratt Z house, because if you've not seen that, it's a concept house. It's a zero carbon property, which is actually being built on the University of Salford's campus. So it's obviously very much in a test and learn environment. So if you've not had a look at it, I would Google it, and it's fascinating, some of the technology and things that they've put into place with that. And then the last couple of things, I regularly say there's never a dull moment in the new build sector. I suppose all of the above have just highlighted that. Obviously we talk about Help to Buy is ending. Last applications have to be in by the 31st of October. So what comes next? But also, we've got legislation coming down the track that's likely to affect landlords. So will we see landlords looking to buy new to sort of meet the requirements there? So as I say, there's never a dull moment, and of course with the government being formed soon, the new Prime Minister, we all wait to see, well, what does that mean for the housing sector and potentially new schemes moving forwards. We'll have to wait and see.
Perfect. That's why I love this industry, mate. Never a dull moment, indeed. And I've just made a note to Google that Barrett Z House because I haven't seen it. And I need to get myself on board with some of this stuff, mate. So thank you. I guess another important point that you've just prompted me on there is around the Help to Buy piece coming to an end. And I think when this vodcast goes out at some point in September, we're getting closer and closer to that date. I guess, what do you see as life after Help to Buy? You know, it's huge in the press and stuff at the moment, but what's your view?
I think the reality, Matt, is there's no silver bullet. I think, Help to Buy has been hugely successful. Launched in 2013, has seen to date over 360,000 completions through the scheme in England alone, let alone the Scottish and Welsh versions. And I think not only that, it helped give the shot of confidence to the house builders to build, that they had a mortgage market, but also it also encouraged lenders back into the new build space, because post the credit crunch, I'm sure we'll all remember the lenders ran to the hills with high LTV and particularly new build was hit hardest, and it's still not back to pre-credit crunch levels, believe it or not. So I think, what comes next? Well, shared ownership's been around for about 40 years and continues to be a successful scheme. I'm a big fan of shared ownership. I think that there needs to be some more work done right across the industry and with consumers around what it is, because I think there's some myths and stuff that is not correct. It is a genuinely affordable scheme. You've got the government's new First Home scheme, which is at least a 30% discount, which there's a pilot last year. It's starting to ramp up this year, about 1,500 completions, and will continue to ramp up going forward, but won't be a replacement for Help to Buy. I think it's worth pointing that out. Help to Build has just been launched, so very much in that self-custom build space. There's only one lender on board at the moment as we speak today. That's Darlington Building Society, and that's only available by build loan, the package at the moment. But we'll start to see that open up in due course, and I'm sure I'll probably be doing a separate webinar on that one in due course. Watch your space. I think what we are seeing though is, and what the government were keen to see is the private sector step up to fill part of the void. Up until this point, they're adamant that Help to Buy is ending. So barring what happens with the new government. So we have seen private schemes come to market, the industry-led deposit unlock scheme, where the Home Builders Federation were involved with builders and lenders. So as we speak today, you've got Newcastle Building Society nationwide and Accord Mortgages with the latest edition. And I know there's a pipeline of lenders they're working with on that one. And the other one is Own New, which has gone by the name of Market Mortgage. Own New is the product. It's not live with any lenders yet, but it's a slightly different scheme to Deposit Unlock, which is more of a sort of a MIG scheme, which the builder pays to the MIG. It's Own New has a range of solutions. So we'll see and hear more on that, I'm sure, over the next few weeks and months as they get more lender traction. There are other private schemes in the market, private shared equity, and we're just sort of making our way through that as an exercise and looking at it from a risk perspective as well, as you know well, Matt. So I guess more will be revealed on that in due course when we've sort of navigated a way through, hopefully one way or another. And I think banker mum and dad is played a massive role for years, and we'd like it to continue to do so. And whether that be through gifting deposits or doing equity release to raise deposit, giving inheritance early, shall we say. So again, no silver bullet really, as I've said, be a range of solutions. But what I would say is that I actually think that's a real positive for the broker, because that makes them even more valuable, not only to their customer, but also to their house builder, because it won't just be a Help to Buy or a 90% mortgage going forward. It could be one of 6, 7, 8 different solutions, depending on that individual customer needs. So, we'll see it. So we're keeping a very close eye on the sort of private schemes. The last thing I just want to say, I know I'm sort of going on this point, but is with Help to Buy ending, we can't forget that there's tens of thousands of customers that are already on the Help to Buy program, where they'll be soon approaching the end of the 5-year interest-free period, and they will need help from a broker with regards to their exit strategy, whether that be a full buyout or a staircasing. So again, we can't forget that sort of back book of customers. And I think the other thing that's really worth pointing out is that with inflation where it's at the moment, and possibly going up even further into 2023, those customers that are going into year 7, the interest rates do increase each year, and they are linked to the consumer price index. So they are going to continue to increase even further. So my advice to any brokers that have written any Help to Buy mortgage in the past is go back and revisit that back book. They're going to need your help.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely one there for the brokers. And I think as well, like you say, life after Help to Buy, there's still plenty alternatives out there to help people, isn't there? So, it's fantastic. Just to finish off then, Craig, I'm going to ask you to talk to us about lender innovation. What's going on in the market?
Yeah, I've touched on some already where we're starting to see some lenders work with private schemes. The deposit lock, new, and maybe some of the other shared equity that is a bit more in its infancy at the moment. So we'll see how that one develops. I think there's a few other areas for me. If I think back to when I was a mortgage advisor at Barclays, Barclays bought Woolwich, and Woolwich, if you remember, had the offset mortgage, and I did loads of those mortgages, and they were fantastic. And I think that was a real true bit of innovation. Launched in 1994, which is quite scary now, the offset mortgage. And I don't really think we've seen a true innovation like that since. We've seen, a bit of change around joint borrower sole proprietor, which is a slightly different version, if you like, to a guarantor type scheme, slightly reskin, which is great. There's another solution. I'm not knocking that. But, I think touching back on my previous point about the bank of mum and dad, could we do something like an intergenerational offset where, parents don't want to give the money, but they put, 50 grand in an account with a bank that doesn't pay them any interest, but that interest is then offset against their child's mortgage, which reduces their payment, or they could use it to pay their mortgage quicker. So I know there are some lenders that have sort of almost used the parents' money as sort of almost like collateral security. But could it be used in an offset way to help reduce costs in the current, given the current climate of rising interest rates and energy, etc., etc. Just an idea, lenders. I'll take a copyright on that one if you're watching. Green mortgages. I think we've started to see more and more green focus from lenders, which is fantastic right across the industry. A lot of it is more in the product rate, maybe cashback space. We have seen leads recently factor that into affordability, where actually if it's an A or B rated property, they will get it will enable the borrower to borrow slightly more, which is great. More of the same from lenders, please. So I think that's a key area and reflects what we said earlier about the cost of living and energy bills. We're starting to see other lenders, in the marketplace, sort of new startup lenders that are looking at doing different things where you can have multiple applicants on a mortgage. So again, I'm hoping we'll see and hear more on that soon. There are other new private schemes that go into the FCA approval process. So again, great that we start to see more and more interest from the private sector. So watch this space. And I guess the old favourite, the old classic is high LTV. If we can get more support for low deposit, high LTV mortgages, then fantastic, whether it be backed by a scheme or not. So yeah, not a short list, but hopefully the lenders that are watching will act upon some of my ideas.
Thanks, Craig. I think just having you in our business talking about new homes, new build, and the passion that you've got for that is absolutely awesome for LSL. So thanks for what you bring into the table for us. I'm going to join you on the plug. You did a little plug for the event. So we love events at Primis across the group. And I think we're well known in the industry for how bloody good our events are. Having you at the helm of new homes has really added value for our brokers, and the feedback we had last year was awesome. So just a reminder of what Craig's already said for anybody watching back. 23rd of November, is it, Craig?
Yeah, Wednesday, 23rd November. It will be in the West Midlands, the venue to be confirmed ASAP. Limited spaces, so if you're interested, get your request in. We will be we'll be sending registration emails out. But yeah, if you're interested, Matt, where do we direct them?
Drop an email to experts@primis.co.uk and we will get you registered. Absolutely no problem at all. But remember, first come, first served. And I think there will be high demand based on, the feedback we had last time and the amount of people who are seeming to want to get involved in the new build space. So another shameless plug. There you go. All good. So look, Craig, it's been absolutely awesome to talk to you today. Really looking forward to seeing where the new homes piece goes with all the innovation, the additional stuff you've talked about. And I guess for our brokers, if anybody's got any questions, where do they go, Craig? If someone wants to know about new homes, new build, where do they go?
Yeah, get in touch. I'm on LinkedIn, as you mentioned. So get connected on LinkedIn. I'm regularly posting information out. My email is craig.hall@lsl-fs.co.uk. My mobile, this is risky giving my mobile out, but I'm brave, 07943 184 575. So, I'm always happy to talk to our brokers and help and support where I can.
Top man. Well, listen, mate, I think you've done very well considering you started today telling us you're jaded because of the puppy. So you've smashed that, mate. Great to talk to you. And we'll chat to you soon, Craig. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, both.
Thanks, Craig.